Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? I thought that instead of a podcast episode where I'm sitting down with my microphone, I would do a get ready with me and talk about some things that I've been doing lately to enhance and maintain my mental health in this crazy world. I will say a big part of me creating a list of things was because I just felt like my life was just so out of control. And there were so many things that I could not control. The one thing about working in real estate, which I love, and I mean, I guess this is just what happens in every single business, honestly, whether you have a 9-to-5 or you are quote unquote self-employed, is the fact that you can't control other people. You can't control how other people operate and how professional other people are and timely. So y'all, this has been a interesting year to say the least, and especially the last couple of months, but we persevere. And one thing that has helped me to maintain balance is to focus on the things that I can control and not focus on the things that I can't. So a big thing that keeps me grounded, and I don't know if this is for any other girl out there, is maintaining my skincare, doing my hair. I guess I should also get into like my skincare, because if I do say so myself, I have a great skin. I really have like worked on it over the years and have maintained it over the years. And I talked about this on my TikTok, like some products that I use, but argan oil, amazing. This stuff, focus. Organic argan oil, cold press, love. And then I love this Trader Joe's SPF. And then I'm just gonna use some eye cream. This is from Medicube, which I love Korean skincare. So I'm gonna use some of this, and then we're gonna do my makeup. I have some meetings today. I'm meeting with a past client who's turned into a friend, which is great. So I'm doing that today. And yeah, keeping it all together. But that is my overall skin routine for the morning. Now let's get into the fun stuff and talk about the rest of the things on that list. The first thing I would say on the list is not isolating yourself. I have a tendency, especially being an introvert, of isolating myself when I am going through something. And the trick is to do stuff that you normally would not do. If you normally isolate yourself, instead of embracing the present, instead of embracing what you currently have and living in that abundance, then I would encourage you to spend some time with others. If you use going out as a defense mechanism, not even defense mechanism, but as a mechanism of avoiding what you need to handle, then maybe do the opposite and take some time to think introspectively. But as someone who has done a lot of inner work over the years, I can tend to isolate myself and kind of punish myself by doing even more inner work, which isn't necessary in those instances. What is necessary is to remind myself that I am abundant in so many ways and to tap into that abundance further. So like going out and spending time with friends, and you don't have to do things that are so super expensive. Like you don't have to go to a 5-star dinner. You can go to a friend's house, grab a bottle of wine and go to the park. For me, I live in Atlanta, so walking the Beltline and just grabbing some light bites. Maybe not even spending any money at all. Like some of these things don't require you to spend money. Just going outside in nature, going outside and spending time with friends, like just getting out of that comfort zone is gonna be key for you. As far as priming my face, I'm not gonna do anything too crazy because I'm not putting on a ton of crazy makeup. It is 90 something degrees, and so we're not doing all that, but I did use the e.l.f. Power Grip primer, which works pretty well for me. I wouldn't say like I'm a big makeup guru, but I did work for a outlet store for Estee Lauder, so I had to like familiarize myself with makeup. And of course, I was in the age of watching all the YouTubers and all the makeup tutorials, so this one is great. I saw reviews on it, and it does work well for me as well. And the great thing about not isolating yourself and going outside is that you can like get dolled up and look pretty. So for example, the past couple days I've been rotting at home. Like I ran errands yesterday, I looked ugly, I washed my hair and all that. So today I was like, you know what, I'm going to get like really pretty for my meetings, and I curled my hair, I even trimmed it a little bit, and I'm gonna put on some makeup. I'm gonna put on something that makes me feel cute, and we're gonna go outside. I like to present myself in a way that like I feel beautiful no matter what. So that is like also something to keeps me grounded, is remembering and reminding myself of my beauty, because everyone has it. Remind yourself of your beauty, what you love about yourself, and put on some makeup and go outside. It is so helpful. All right, so next I'm gonna use this Kosas concealer. It's the Revealer Extra Bright, so it's the one that goes under the brightening concealer that goes under your regular concealer. It can be used separate or with the other concealer. Sometimes I use it by itself, but in this instance, I like to just put a few dots on my face, like that. I'm not gonna do the most because I don't feel the need to. I'm not going on a date or going out to dinner. Well, I am going out to dinner, but I'm not going on a date. So I'm like, okay, I don't need to. And it's daylight and it's so hot outside, so I'm not about to do the most. Okay, so another thing that I've been doing that has helped my health, because this isn't just about your mental health, this is about your overall health, and just focusing on things you can control and leveling up in the ways that you can control right now. So if that doesn't mean spending thousands of dollars on a trip, you can do these things that are inexpensive and ways of leveling up that will help you to maintain your self-control. And that is, I have been taking chicken broth, bone broth in the morning. So any form of bone broth, and eating kimchi more. So in the morning when I first wake up, I drink bone broth. Of course, I brush my teeth first because you want to make sure that you are taking the bacteria off of your, like out of your mouth. Like I think it's so gross when people don't tongue scrape. I tongue scrape at least once a day, sometimes twice a day, or at least twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, I'll say, because I will tongue scrape at night when I brush my teeth as well as in the morning. But for the morning time, when you sleep, your body is working in overtime to maintain your immune system and your health. And so it's really important that we assist it by scraping our tongues before we eat anything, like drink anything like that, because you're just putting the bacteria right back into your system, and Osmosis Jones is going, what the hell? I don't know if anybody remembers Osmosis Jones. That movie was so fascinating to me as a kid, and now as an adult, I'm fascinated by Inside Out. It's like we've gone from like Osmosis Jones teaching us about health and having the flu. I think like that's what the character I had was, like the flu or something. And now we're on to teaching kids about emotional regulation and hormones and puberty. I think it's great. So that's done. So I also like to let it sit for a second before I put another layer on top. So in the meantime, I will do my brows. And bone broth is just really good for your system. Back on track. Bone broth is really good for your immune system. And so in the bone broth, I add other things that are good for my immune system. So I'll add turmeric and ginger and cinnamon and cayenne pepper, black pepper, and a little bit of Celtic salt. And I'll drink that on an empty stomach in the mornings. It's very helpful for my digestive system as well. There are other things that I have done for my digestive system, but every now and then I like to switch it up. I do have a glow juice. Maybe I'll do a recipe soon, because I have a recipe. It was on my website. My website is down right now. It is being worked on. So, and that's a really good juice too, that has like lemon and olive oil and turmeric, ginger, all the things in that as well. So both of those are really good. But for now, bone broth has been working wonders. Focus. Bone broth has been working wonders for me, and I think that has contributed to my immune system staying in balance as well. This eyebrow pencil is from Sephora. I normally use Anastasia Beverly Hills, but they didn't have my shade or something when I went, so I got this instead, and it was much cheaper. And I saw reviews on TikTok that it was good, so I was like, you know what, let me try it. Okay, so that is good enough for now. Okay, the third thing that I do, and I've been doing this for the past 3 years, is journaling. But what I've been doing more now is beyond just journaling. I future journal, which is looking at stuff from the perspective of my future self, like what my future self would tell my past self, and how my future self reflects on how proud she is. So I make my future self the present, and the present my past, if that makes sense. And so I just like create prompts. I don't really follow other people's prompts. I create my own prompts of like, this is what I want to focus on today. But the gist of it is you want to feel like you were in a different space. You want to feel the elevated emotions, as Joe Dispenza says, that you would feel if you like were your future self right now. So how would your future self present themselves? And I always tend to like also like talk about gratitude and how grateful I am and how far I've come, and just reflecting on how far I've come. Because when you do that, you are also quantum leaping yourself, because you are putting yourself in the space of your future self versus who you are right now. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe I should do a whole episode about quantum leaping, because even though I am not where I want to be just yet, I have made so much progress over the past couple of years that other people notice, but especially I notice. And even when things arise that come up for me, this is the Kosas actual concealer. This is in the shade 6.3N. 6.3N. I don't know if you can see that. Focus. Okay. But this is Kosas. I love this one. But even when I'm going through something that is challenging, I handle it way better than I would have. Like, the past couple of months have been so challenging for me work-wise, and just, I don't know, I've just been going through a lot of changes, and the way that I have maintained myself, I'm so proud of, because India a year ago, India 2 years ago, 5 years ago would have not handled it the way that I do. And so that's something to celebrate and be proud of. And I feel like when you do talk about like how proud you are of like the work that you've done, you only create more things to be proud of, more elevation, more leveling up, because you are acknowledging your growth and you are paying attention to it. Okay, so next I'm gonna do a little bit of contour. Another thing that I've been doing that I had to stop myself from today is less caffeine. Sometimes caffeine makes me anxious. Now, if it doesn't make you anxious, then by all means, caffeine it away. But I just feel like no matter what, even if I drink it on like a full belly or I've been eating, I still experience some, not necessarily just anxiety, but also like changes in like just my health that day. Like yesterday, y'all, I had coffee, I had an espresso latte, and I didn't finish a meal. I didn't have a full meal yesterday. I woke up and was like, what did I eat? So I just have to like lay off sometimes. And also, you don't want to have a caffeine dependency. I had a teacher in high school in my AP Psych class, and I will never forget, like, I'd be remembering people's trauma, okay? And I'd be like, let me not do this. She was addicted to Coke or Pepsi or something, not like, but like Pepsi or soda, I would say. And I remember when she stopped drinking it, and she would be like so crabby in the mornings, and she would just say like how bad she felt, like she had headaches, and she was just like, don't do this to yourself. I don't know why I thought, like, I'm just not that girl to do that. I'm gonna take my brush as normal. I don't even like do the most, because I'm just gonna add some right there, and I'm just gonna like leave it there for a little bit and let it like stick a little bit so that it sticks longer. Okay, anyway, but yeah, so just not drinking as much caffeine, because honestly, like, I feel like you train yourself to want it more because you feel like you need it, but when you wake up and you just go on about your day and you allow like yourself to just flow, it's great. Now, of course, I love coffee when I'm like, have like back to back to back to back things to do, but just take a break. Don't allow yourself to be dependent on that, because I think we always focus on like addictions of like opioids and heroin and crack and, you know, stuff like that, but we don't think about like the addiction to sugar. We don't think about the addiction to caffeine. We don't think about the addiction to like alcohol. Well, we do think about that, but like, you know, like the addiction to things that we normalize as okay. And really, like, you can have a dependency, an addiction to anything. So I think like it's just really important to watch yourself and be mindful in general of anything. Okay, so another thing that I've been doing is watching my intrusive thoughts. No matter who you are. Okay, so I guess I should talk about this first. This is the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush. I do like it. It just like squirts out so crazily. So I have to be careful. I know you're not supposed to like put this directly on your face, but for all intents and purposes today, I'm going to. So makeup artists out there, please don't murder me mentally, okay? Or shame me mentally, I would say. But just watching your negative intrusive thoughts. As someone who has had negative intrusive thoughts her entire life and told herself, I won't say like my entire life, like, but I feel like the opinions of other people started to get to me. I used to be, or when I was a kid, I was so confident in myself. Like my sisters still talk about like how I would stare in the mirror at myself and be like, I'm just so beautiful. And I just never saw an issue with it. Like it only became an issue when other people made me feel bad about it. Or like would make fun of me, or there would be moments, because no matter how we spin it, I've never come from a place of like, oh, this person's jealous of me. That's just not how I won't even say brought up. That's just not like the first thing that's gonna come to my mind. What the hell, my hair? That's not the first thing that's gonna come to my mind because I'm focused on myself. But that's the case sometimes. Like people are jealous of you. People see something in you that they don't have or that they don't think that they have. And I know that I come from a good space. I'm not someone who thinks that I'm better than other people. I'm just someone who knows who I am. And over the years, my self-esteem just like got lower and lower and lower, especially like post-college. Like in my early 20s and just dealing with like friendship heartbreaks and like other things that were going on. Or just not feeling understood. So I really had to like work on getting my self-esteem back together. And a big part of that is working on your negative intrusive thoughts and redirecting it to something positive. The next blush I'm going to use, two, is this e.l.f. Putty blush in the color, I think it's in the color like coral or something, but it's a coral shade. It looks like this. And it's really pretty on black skin tones. But yeah, just working on your negative intrusive thoughts. So something that I've been doing recently, so journaling definitely helps. Affirmations definitely help. But you're still gonna have moments where you think like shitty thoughts. And so for me, something that really helped me was just telling myself that's just a thought. Like literally stopping the thought in its tracks and just saying that's just a thought. That's not the reality of it. And then telling myself something positive. So if I'm having a thought, so for example, I think I talked about this on my authenticity episode. In Atlanta, and I don't know if any other city, there's a lot of girls here with BBLs. There's a lot of girls here with BBLs, boob jobs, nose jobs, Botox everywhere, filler everywhere. And so a lot of, I won't say a lot of guys, but guys do gravitate towards that. And it can make you feel insecure or like you don't belong. And instead of telling myself, like while I'm dating, right? So if I'm on an online dating app or I'm out and about to go out and I have a thought of like, wow, I'm not gonna look like these other girls. Like I'm gonna look so different. I'm gonna look like a fish out of water. No one's gonna like me. I redirect that and I say, hold on. Like the fact that I have a natural body, no shade, a natural face, a natural, like natural hair, natural everything, no Botox, no filler, that is a rarity in Atlanta, and not just Atlanta, but a rarity in the US, the world right now. And also reminding yourself that there are other women who are just like you who prefer not to do those things or just haven't done those things yet. Like, it's not like I don't want to do those things, but I'm also cautious about what can happen with blindness to those sort of things. So anyway, redirecting your negative thoughts and telling yourself like, that's just not true, that's not the case, and replacing that negative thought with something positive. So if you're telling yourself, I feel so ugly, like I'm so fat, telling yourself like, I'm beautiful as I am the shit. In business, especially in real estate, it's so easy to compare your journey to the journey of other people. And so instead of telling myself like, they're better than me, like that's why they got that, I tell myself, okay, that's not the right opportunity for me. Thank you, God, for protecting me from that. There's something that I needed to learn. There's something that needed to happen. So I trust that the next opportunity that arises, I'll be ready for it. I will, I know that it'll be right for me. Replacing that with something, with whatever floats your boat, whatever worked for you in that particular circumstance. I am now just putting powder on my face. This is a Morphe powder. I'm trying to be delicate because I tend to mess up my concealer by going a little too hard. So yeah, this is the Morphe Bake and Set and Banana. Banana works, I think it's like works for every skin tone. So I love that one. And then I love the Anastasia one too. And I like the Charlotte Tilbury, I can't remember, but this e.l.f. one I use at night on top of this because it's the HD powder and it has a little bit of like luminance to it, like a glitter, but it's not like too glittery. Like you're not gonna walk around looking like My Little Pony, but it just is a nice like extra added bonus on top of that. So yes, stop the thought dead in its tracks and tell yourself something positive. It feels bad at first when you first do it, but after you keep doing it, it genuinely works. And you will just feel so proud of yourself at the changes that you see yourself making. So if you normally would ruminate on something for days or hours and you only ruminate it on like for an hour or for 10 minutes, that is still so much progress. And I think in the manifestation world, like we put so much focus on, in the manifestation world, there's so much focus put on like not ruminating and staying clear and holding on to the vision and what do they call it, not wavering. But as a human being, we're gonna waver sometimes. We're not robots, and it's okay to waver. Like it's okay to have a moment where you doubt yourself. It's okay to have a moment where you question if this is right for you or if this is actually gonna happen. But then you just snap back into like where you positively need to be. Just step back into the frequency, and there's nothing wrong with that, and there's no reason to punish yourself for that. You know what I'm saying? Because we're human beings, and that's something that I really had to learn because I thought that I needed to be perfect and perfectly stay in the focus to like get something that I wanted, and that's just not the truth. The more you're harder on yourself, you're actually pushing it away. But when you allow yourself to accept the wavering, you allow yourself to accept the negative thought, and you don't like, because when you are like being hard on yourself about it, you are identifying with it. You're identifying with that thought. But if instead you tell yourself, that's just a thought, that's not the truth. Like, I know that things are working out for me in ways that I cannot imagine. You allow yourself to accept that you have the thought, but observe it versus identify with it, if that makes sense. And it really, like some of these terms and the things that people would say to me, I would be like, okay, that doesn't make any sense to me, or okay, that makes sense to me on a certain level. But once you actually put it into practice and you practice it and you practice it and you practice it and you see the results, you will be so proud of yourself and you'll realize, oh wow, like I was actually wavering, or I was actually like, not wavering, but I was actually not doing what I thought that I should be doing. You know what I'm saying? This is a NARS contour thing, and it's so old and so dingy that I couldn't even tell you what color it is. I couldn't tell you anything, but I'm just gonna add this on top of all of this because it's a little bit more like warmer than the contour stick, and so I just like to add it on top as like a bronzer. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to what else do I have to do with my face? First of all, my hair is it's bothering me. I'm gonna take this off. So the next thing is changing your algorithm. So if you are changing internally, you also want to watch what you are watching, what you are absorbing, what you are reading, what you are identifying yourself with. I try not to watch too many like gory things on TV. Now, if I'm like on a date or I'm with friends and we want to watch a horror film or something like that, that's so fine. But I'm not watching true crime series and Dateline every night. I'm not going to watch things that are going to trigger me into a lower frequency. And if you are someone who can watch those things and that is like your jam, if Law and Order SVU is your jam, then don't change it. Like if it doesn't affect you mentally, then don't do it. But as someone who feels energy very easily, like watching too many sad things or depressing things, it can just like take a toll on me so much. And while I like to stay informed of what's going on in the world, I don't want to focus on it too much where I am letting it take over my life. So all the talk about taxes and everything going up and all this stuff, it's like when you focus so much on that, you're not focusing on what God is, spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever you call it, is preparing for you over here, because you're focused on like all the stuff that is gonna change inevitably. Like I told my sister that. So my sister, love you if she's watching this, love you so much. She was talking to me about like how like, you know, like the increase of taxes on goods and all this other stuff. And I was like, girl, if you don't just focus on making more money, like let's just focus on making more money. I'm not gonna focus so much on this, because if I need toilet paper, I need toilet paper. If I need milk, I need milk. If I need eggs, I need eggs. So let's shift gears a little bit and also take into like and have perspective about things. If something went up $1, how did that not get into the house? If something went up $1, like that is, it's not as big of a deal as you think that it might be, because you would spend that doing something frivolous anyway. So anyway, I don't focus on that, like the news too much. I do, like I said, like to stay informed, but I would rather give back in ways that I can. And people don't take into account that even you just showing up positively, you showing up joyful, you asking someone how they're doing, if they're having a great day, being there for someone makes such an impact. You smiling at someone, opening the door for someone, if you're able to, like paying for someone's groceries or paying for someone's meal if you're at a fast food place behind you, like taking your friend to grab a drink or making food for your friends, like all these things create an impact that creates a domino effect, and it compounds into something way larger. You just never know what people are going through, and the impact that you can have on just one person that can impact another person. It's just paying it forward. If you've ever seen that movie, Paying It Forward, it's just that example of just the compound effect of kindness. And so you should not take for granted the kindness that you extend to other people. Also, changing the algorithm of the content that you're absorbing on social media. So if I come across something that, you know, is important, of course I'm gonna do what I can, or at least send positivity out, but I'm not gonna necessarily like everything that is gonna just change my algorithm to seeing more of that content. I like to stay on the up and up. And again, that doesn't mean that you are just like unaware of what's going on around you, but you're just not allowing it to like absorb into your system and affect you every single day. Because we can't. There's so many things going on in this world. If I focus on every single bad thing that's going on in this world, I'd be in a mental asylum, honestly. There's not enough time in the day. Like, I live to pray for people, do GoFundMes, volunteer, again, spread words of kindness and joy. I'd rather do that than constantly be talking about something that I can't physically control, you know? So there's that. I would just pay attention to what you're absorbing and what you're listening to. I've had to even change some of the music that I've listened to, because I am a hip hop girl through and through, and I will listen to a song that says, bitch, 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 give me my money, blah, blah, blah. And then I look back and I'm like, hold on, is this like safe? Is this showing my nervous system that it's safe to call in a partner who is going to like, is this safe for my nervous system? Is this safe for me who is working on how I date. Is this safe for me? Like, is this making my divine feminine feel safe? Because there's polarity. There's divine masculine and divine feminine. When I work out, I listen to that all day and every day. But when I'm like in the car, or I'm like, you know, just being a girl, I like to play something that's a little bit more like upbeat. I'll play Kate Renata, Sabrina Carpenter, even Tyler the Creator, just things that aren't just so like derogatory towards women, because that's not like you're no matter what you think, you're absorbing it. And so I just try to be mindful. And when I'm like listening to like the hustle culture music, then I feel like I need to be out here hustling, selling a brick, and that's just not the case. But when you listen to more like defined feminine music, like Ariana Grande, Just Like Magic, or Whitney Houston, I'm Every Woman, you feel way more empowered. Like, it's just a different feeling. So I would just try it. If you're like me and you listen to Jeezy and Jay-Z and Ludacris, or whoever, just change it up a little bit. Listen to some girly music. Let's put on some Sade, put on some Kate Renata, put on something that's gonna make you feel good. Okay, so next I'm going to put on some blush. Some more blush, because blush fades. So I'm using the NARS Angelica. I don't even know if this is out anymore, but I like this shade. And the thing about NARS is like they're so pigmented that they last so long. Like, and so yeah. And I just do a little bit of that. And I like to put it like here on my face. As you see, like focusing on my temples, because I like to look like sun-kissed and like glowy. But I also don't like to look like I'm doing too much, if that makes sense. Just a little bit on my nose. Okay, so the next thing is, I feel like I'm like kind of all over the place today with my makeup, so I'm gonna put some of this on my nose. But the next thing is to thank God for things that are going right in your life, right? And not just asking for things. I'm going through something. Sometimes it's hard for me to, when I'm going through something, sometimes it's hard for me to look around me and see all the ways that things are going right for me. And that is something that I have been really working on, because I will be quick to be like, God, please help me with this, please. And you should. Like, God never gets sick of us. Unlike man, spirit, your ancestors, your angel guides, they don't get sick of you asking for guidance. They don't get sick of you asking for things. At least I don't think so. But the issue that comes into play is only calling on spirit, God, your ancestors, your spirit guides for things when things are going wrong, versus thanking them for the things that you already have. Because gratitude is the number one currency as far as energy goes. Like, the more gratitude you feel, the more that the universe can say, okay, like, let's bring her more of that. And that's another reason why you want to think in abundance versus lack. And this is something that I've had to learn firsthand over and over and over again. When I'm on a trip and I'm only thinking about how much money I'm spending and like, where's more money coming from? Or if I am at the grocery store and I'm thinking about like, oh, well, let me get this product versus this product because it's on sale, even though I like this product more. Or if I am in my own kitchen and I'm saving food for a rainy day, it's like, girl, if you don't just eat that, or makeup for a rainy day, it's like, you're not believing that you can receive more. So I would really like check yourself when it comes to that, and just being grateful for everything that you have and allowing God to bring more. Even if you're not where you want to be, if you have a roof over your head, if you have clothes on your back, if you have a cell phone, if you have your feet, your arms, your eyes, you can see, you can smell, you can taste, you can hear. Those are all things to be grateful for. And so I really try to look at those things that we see as little things and realize those are big things. Just waking up to see a new day. There are people that did not wake up this morning. There are people who are gonna get a call that says that their loved one passed away. And when you have that realization too, or you've lost people in your life, you just realize that life is short, and we just really wanna stay focused on gratitude. Okay, so another thing that I've been working on, let me see, what else I need to do on my face? Okay, so The next step of my face is my eyes. I'm not gonna do the most because I don't feel like it. I'm just gonna put on some mascara. Let me clip, because I can't do this right here. I will say that I have quite long lashes, and I feel like argan oil has helped a lot with that too. So do with that what you will. The next thing is asserting myself more, not being afraid to advocate for myself, and in a way that's emotionally regulated. You don't have to scream and yell and curse to advocate for yourself. And I feel like once you realize that, like, silence is sometimes what's necessary, and that is still a way of asserting yourself. Not being afraid to follow up. So, on things that are important to you. Not being afraid to speak up for yourself. And the more you practice, because it's just like anything, it's just like working out, it's just like maintaining a positive mindset. The more you practice asserting yourself, the more powerful you feel. I come from an anxious attachment style based life. Like, I'm a divorce baby for one, but like my birth parents divorced when I was in utero, and that all affects the baby no matter what. So I will always acknowledge the fact that, like, I didn't have the best like setup for success when it came to like my attachment style, because my mom was sort of in survival mode at the moment. So I've really had to check myself when it comes to my attachment style, and just realizing like, okay, like there's got to be something done about this. And I was afraid for the longest that if I asserted myself in the way that I needed to, and not just when things were going completely catastrophic and I had to, or being angry, or, you know, having a temper tantrum, whatever, when I assert myself in a ladylike fashion, and I just simply, that can be as simple as saying no. I remember, like, I would be afraid to tell men no in the past. Like my ex, when he wanted to come over or if he wanted to do something, I would always say yes. And then once I started doing like inner work on my attachment style, I started saying no and saying it with glee. Like, no, I don't want to do that today. Like, it would bother the shit out of me that he would drink and then want to come over after drinking, when I'm not drinking and I'm just chilling in a bonnet and my PJs watching Bridgerton, okay? Don't come over here with your BS. And once I started saying no and realizing like this is what's best for my mental health and focusing on doing things that are best for my mental health, that changed. That also looks like, ladies, when you have plans with your friends or you have plans with your family and your spouse or your partner or a man that you've been wanting to go on a date with tells you like, let's go on a date. That means not canceling on your friends. That means like sticking with your plans, because at the end of the day, focusing on yourself and focusing on what's the best for you will get you way further than anything. And if those people are supposed to be in your life, then they will be. I allow people to have a temper tantrum all they want. Okay, that doesn't affect me at all. This guy did that once. Was like, okay, well, if you don't do this, then I'm not. Okay, well, there's a door. There's a door. A good song to listen to that is in alignment with Divine Feminine is Yes by Beyonce. Because in that song, she just talks about the first time I say no, it's like I never said yes. And she just is like moving on from this man who expects her to like move at his pace instead of moving at her pace. Sorry, I don't know why I got up. I'm trying to do I might have just done a horrendous job, but those are my lashes. Yeah, the more you assert yourself, ladies, I promise you, it will get so much easier to the point where you have no problem saying no. Like, I laugh now. I'm like, okay, whatever. Bye. I don't care. I truly don't. And you'll get over it. But will I? Probably not. Okay, and the last thing before I close this out and finish on with my day is asking signs from the universe. And this goes right in hand with asking God for help, and how I mentioned, like, God never gets tired of you asking for help, but he also wants you to, you know, obviously practice gratitude. But in this case, God never gets tired of you asking for signs. So a couple of weeks ago, I needed a sign that, like, this company that I closed a deal with, just took forever to pay me. And I was just so much looking forward to that money. I had plans for it, you know, etc. And they were like behind like 60 days. So not only did I assert myself, because that's a part of this, I asserted myself, and I'm like, I'm gonna email and call as much as I need to until I get answers. But I also asked God for signs that the money was on its way. And the sign was, for me that week, was a cardinal. I was like, please show me a cardinal. And when I tell you, all week I got that sign, down to me watching the Sex and the City spinoff. And just like that, by the way, this is the Fenty Beauty highlighter, and I'm using the Mean Money, I think, Mean Hustle Baby. I'm using Hustler Baby, and you just need a little bit, you don't need that much. But the way that I, like, down to me watching and just like that, the Sex and the City spinoff, and Miranda was making out with some girl, and Cardinal by Casey Musgraves came on, and that song is not a romantic song. I'm like, what is this song playing? And that is literally a song that I've had in my head for, I guess, since that album came out. Like, I just love that song, and that album is just great in general, if you haven't listened to it. But yeah, that came on, and I was just starstruck. Like, I was dumbfounded, like, wow, this song made its way. And so that was just really me trusting. And then by the end of the week, the money was sent to my company, and I was just really happy. Okay, last step is highlighter. I mean, not highlighter. The last step is spray. I use this Urban Decay All Night. I feel like this has been used for decades, centuries. I just spray a little bit. I don't have, like, I mean, I have meetings and stuff, but again, it's so hot outside, so just needing to make sure that you maintain your face, but I don't want to do the most. Don't be afraid to ask God for signs. And even if it's something that you're a little fearful about, just know that, like, God, the spirit, your ancestors, your angel guides, your guardian angels have your best intentions in mind. They want the best for you. So if something leaves your life, it's because something better is coming. So I've even asked for signs of, like, is this person right for me? Please tell me if this person's wrong for me, and I will listen. And I've received the sign and remove that person from my life. Like, okay, got the sign I needed. Thank you. Good night. Okay, and that is the final look. I'm gonna touch up my hair a little bit more, but I just thought it would be nice to do something different and talk to you guys about some things that I do for my mental health, some things that keep me grounded, some things that keep me in my, like, balance in my divine feminine, and just releasing the control of things. I thought it would be nice to chat about that and do that while I do something feminine, like putting on my makeup. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a comment, subscribe, all that jazz. My podcast is called You're Welcome. That is in the description as well if you'd like to subscribe to that. A new episode will be coming out later this week. And as usual, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.